Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on Sam's Crafty Castle, and today I'm doing a fun rainbow card. This is one of those cards where I didn't really know where I was going. I just kind of started doing stuff, but in the end I'm really happy with how this came out. So I have, it'll be linked in the description because once again I've waited too long between filming and recording this voiceover to remember the name of the stamp set I used. But this is from Simon Says Stamp. It is still available because I know I looked that up because I wasn't sure because I got this from someone. Someone gave it to me. I think one of my family members gave it to me. And this is not what I had planned for this card when I first pulled it out. I thought I was going to do something with, in the stamp set, there's like some curved rainbow pieces, and I thought I was going to do something with that. But I pulled them out, started playing with it, wasn't vibing. So I found this straight stripe piece, basically, that's what it is, and decided to make some rainbow pattern paper. I have some rainbow pattern paper, but I had this stamp set out and just for kicks and giggles decided to see about making my own. So I've just been stamping all of these, and originally I wanted it to go the other way, so it was like horizontal on this paper, if you will, like the way it's laying now, I guess. Vertical if I flipped it the other way. But it wasn't going to work with the Misty. I have my big one. I could have gotten out the big one and it would have worked, but I didn't feel like getting up to get the big one. So I just adjusted my plan and did horizontal stripes basically instead. I guess technically vertical stripes because of the way I have everything facing. And I just went in rainbow order. So I knew I wanted the bottom part of the paper to be the cool half of the rainbow, if you will, the end of the rainbow colors. So I just started with purple and then I just worked my way up. I'm trying to remember what colors I used. I know the blue is blue raspberry, and that's all I really remember right now. The yellow should be wild dandelion. I should have written down the colors, but I did not. The green I'm going to guess is Lucky Clover because I'm pretty sure I went with my pretty solid, like, these are the colors I always use for rainbows, kind of color palette. But the purple, at least on video, does not look like Wild Lilac, which is my usual choice for that. But we'll see how it goes. So, the other thing I want to mention is this is obviously a fairly solid stamp. It's not like a super silhouette stamp like some other stamp sets I've used, but this one is fairly solid, and I did not prep/prime these at all before I started stamping. So you'll see me double stamp a lot at the beginning here because the stamp is just like not ready basically, because it's the first time I'm using it. And then as we go along, the colors get a little bit darker and easier to stamp because, yeah, that's just how stamps work. I don't know what else to say. So I do overlap the stripes a little bit too because I'm going in rainbow order. Everything will blend kind of nicely together, so I overlap them just a little bit every time. The orange is definitely Tangerine Twist. The red is also most likely Red Hot, I believe, because my favorite Gina K red, because you guys know Gina K is my like go-to ink brand, is Red Velvet, but that would have been too dark for this, so I'm going to go with that. I probably used Red Hot. My bad for not writing down the colors I used. Oh, that is definitely Wild Lilac. It just doesn't look like Wild Lilac at the beginning, but that is definitely Wild Lilac for my purple layer. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm just stamping away, and this is the longest part of this video, is me making this pattern paper, and I just go and slowly build up my rainbow. And like I said, I had intended for this to honestly be a background when I started. I wasn't going to cut it up. I wasn't going to use it as pattern paper. Like, this was going to be my card. This was going to be the background of my card, and I was going to build everything on top of that. And as I started to build things and get further into this, I started to feel like, as much as I love this rainbow paper, it was just going to be too much for a background on my card. So I ended up deciding to use it like a pattern paper instead of using it just as a background. So this is actually a 4 1/4 by 5.5 card panel, again, because I intended to use it as a background and I was just going to trim the edges a little bit. But I already have panels in that size pre-cut that I use for all kinds of things. So a lot of times I'll just start there with a background and then trim it down. And then that way, if I have any weird spots, I can just very conveniently cut them away at times. I mean, obviously, if they happen in the middle, there's not really much I can do about it, except, well, maybe, depending on the layout, I might be able to cut out the middle. But for the most part, that just is what works easiest for me. So I'm just gonna, this, like I said, this is the part that takes the longest, is me stamping all of these little strips. And then I just ended up using this as basically pattern paper. I really can't wait for you guys to see what this looks like when it's done and how I used it. It came out so good, I think, in the end. But yeah, this part, it takes a little while, stamping all these stripes. I don't know what else to say, because I'm just stamping stripes. So yeah, this is the process of this video, is just stamping the stripes over and over again. This is the other thing I wanted to talk about. You'll see me right here pick up and move the stamp. If I had used the bigger Misty, if I hadn't been feeling so lazy and actually gotten up and gotten my bigger Misty out, I could have moved my paper rather than my stamp, but I didn't want to get out the big Misty. So yeah, big Misty. I don't use him enough, honestly. But he's not like right by my desk, so sometimes I don't want to get up and get him. That's the only reason. But I could have just moved my paper instead of moving my stamp every time. I don't know which way is easier. I kind of prefer moving the stamp because I can kind of line it up every time, compared to, and I'm not super worried about colors overlapping in this one either. So like, even though yes, I do clean off my stamp in between each color, I'm not worried about, like, if I didn't clean it off well enough, it getting a little extra ink on the stripe below it when I line things up. It still works out that way, because everything overlaps. So I want to actually quickly draw your attention to the stripes that we started with down at the bottom, because those ones are drying and getting darker, and they're gonna look more lighter, I guess, technically, and that's more what we're gonna get when we're finished. I think that I am just talking in circles now because it has been just me stamping stripes, so I may give you music in a little bit here for the last half of all of these stripes. But what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, follow up to last week's video. When you're watching this, I am currently in full-on crop and create mode, hopefully filming vlogs for you guys. Like I said, I have a family member coming to do crop and create with me this year, so things are a little bit different vlog-wise, but I think I'm hoping to still vlog just like a little bit, but it'll probably be more of like, kind of like the first year I did the vlogs, where it was a little bit more of like a recap compared to like last year's vlog, where we saw a lot more of everything. So anyway, that's the only update I have right now, and I'm going to turn off the voiceover for a minute and put some music on so that you guys can just enjoy watching me stamp, and then I'll come back when we get back into more of like the actual like building part. hope you enjoyed that little music break. I am back. So I'm just finishing up here, this last green stripe, and you'll see, or I guess I actually get one more. I'm pretty sure I finished up with this green stripe. You'll see my pattern doesn't repeat all the way across. That's fine. I don't need it to. Whenever you guys cut pattern paper, I don't know about you, but I know for me, a lot of times when I'm cutting pattern paper, the pattern doesn't always repeat perfectly, so ours doesn't either. This part, though, I wanted to come back to this part for a reason. I still have the video like really extra sped up here, but if I could do anything over again in this video, on this whatever, I would have sprayed that with water first and then tried to get some cool backgrounds out of it, because I think the stripes that I had there could have made some really cool backgrounds, but I did not think about that until after I sprayed it to clean it off, and then I was like, oh wait, I should have done that. So now I was trying to figure out like how I was going to do my greeting, and I had this stamp set that I had been trying to use forever from Honeybee, and the birthday on it was always too big for whatever I was working on. So then what I decided to do was, because I missed talking about this earlier, so let me circle back for a second here. I cut a panel, you can see it off in the corner here, from my rainbow striped pattern paper, and that was going to be one half of my card. So I was still getting the kind of background that I was going for. And then I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for the greeting, and I intended to use a set from Honeybee to stamp like happy birthday on it, but it did not work. The stamp was too big, but there's a coordinating die set for it, so I was like, I know what to do. Actually, no, I don't think I used a coordinating die set for it. I think I did. I think this is a Lawn Fawn die. I don't actually remember anymore. I'm sorry, it looks like a Lawn Fawn die, though. I think it's a Lawn Fawn one because it's a little bit smaller, and I think the Honeybee one was still too big. So I used it. I'm like 99.9% it's Lawn Fawn Scripty birthday, so we're just going to roll with it and say that it is. So I still used the Happy from the Honeybee stamp set that I had out and was intending to use, and then I just die cut the birthday because I had some cardstock left over since I wasn't using the whole sheet of my rainbow pattern paper. See, you wouldn't even know that wasn't printed pattern paper. This card, I just really like how this one came out. And then I'm going to glue that on, and then what you can't see, it does not show up on camera like at all, and I'll admit it doesn't show up in the photos that well either. But the white panel is actually embossed with a cloud embossing folder that I have. It did not show up in the video like at all. You can't see it. I'm guessing just because it's white, and it just kind of freaks it out and my camera out, and he just like blows everything out really weird. I was also really proud of myself for not losing the eye dot, the little tittle, as Kathy Z has taught us all, for my eye, because I lose those all the time, and I didn't lose it this time, and I was quite proud of myself. And I felt it needed just a little something extra, but nothing too crazy, because the rainbow colors kind of add a lot of pop to things, but I just wanted to add a little bit of something extra, so I just used my pick and stick tool to add a couple little clear sort of dewdrop type gems to the corner, just to add a little something without taking. There you go. Now you can really see the clouds once I hold it up, and like I said, it kind of shows up in the picture, but not really. But anyway, that's the card. I hope you guys will try it and try making your own pattern papers and just seeing what you have around, and that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and I'll see you again soon, and have a crafty day.